In the past, others have told you what you can have. With the BaleWulf line of balers, we've taken a different approach. This is the new BaleWulf 2 Ram baler, manufactured with proprietary industry-first bolt-in liners. These liners can be replaced in a day, saving valuable time and money. Other impressive features of this new BaleWulf: a progressive shear made from T1 tool steel, a vertical bale separation door, which eliminates material building up within the door guides, taking less effort to maintain and saving valuable floor space. Adjustable rear gathering ram tail rollers allow for the ram to continue to keep true as the wear increases over use. A pack shoe adjuster allows the ram to keep tolerances tight. Plug-and-play wiring has simplified the electrical system for fast and easy updates or repairs. A laser ram positioning system eliminates manual switches and is significantly more accurate. Industry-standard Allen Bradley controls are another part of the premium components that have been designed into every BaleWulf. Built with high-quality Parker hydraulics, hard piping is used in select areas, greatly reducing the chance of hydraulic leaks and line shock. With universal left or right eject, your BaleWulf can be modified or relocated anytime in the field to best fit your needs. Every installation includes a factory tech startup to optimize the program for your product throughput. Together, with high-tech professional after-the-sales support you can count on. Our service reps are able to wirelessly access your baler for diagnostic and programming adjustments. You'll get more frequent inspections without the need for lockout-tagout, using these Lexan panels with built-in work lights. They take the hassle out of visual inspections. There is also easy access to pins for quick removal of cylinders. This time-saving remote grease station allows an operator to lubricate friction points, all from just one location. Your BaleWulf is backed by the best warranty in the industry, and there's a planned maintenance program included with every baler purchased. Seabright Products and JWR, proud family-run companies located right here in the USA, with outstanding service and support, all with your operational success a priority. We're building and servicing equipment you can depend on well into the future. It's time you had a choice. The BaleWulf line of balers, achieving bale weights exceeding other entry-level 2 ram balers, with rugged versatility and dependability you can rely on.
Hi, I'm Brent Seabright, President of Seabright Products.
Hi, I'm Dave Wolf, President and owner of JWR Inc. Thank you very much for joining us today on our BaleWulf 2 Ram launch. We're very pumped up about introducing our product into the market, and excited to have this opportunity to partner with Seabright and create the BaleWulf line of balers.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good if you'd tell them how you came about having this idea to build this particular line of balers, with the expertise that you guys have in servicing equipment around the country and, the need you've seen.
Mm-hmm. Good question. We noticed, in our opinion, that there was a niche that needed to be filled in this industry. So we have created our BaleWulf line of balers, which is a partnership between Seabright and JWR. And you know, it's a tight thing. We only have 4 models of balers. We have 2 very rugged closed-end balers and two rams.
2 very rugged 2-ram balers.
Right.
I think one of the things that was most interesting is, you know, for 35 plus years we've been doing stuff together in the marketplace, and this is by far the biggest undertaking that we've taken. I know that you've been testing balers at your place, our balers, and we've got them out at customer sites on specific products. I think we're about 3 years in to testing this. Maybe you can expand a little bit about some of the products we've tested and how that's going.
No, absolutely. You know, first of all, I'd like to say, you know, the reason that we decided to do what we're doing, and we're just simply listening to our customers. People want things and they want it now. They don't want to wait 20 weeks, you know, for a delivery. So our commitment, you know, as the owners of the BaleWulf line of balers, is we're going to have product on the floor, ready to move. We will have parts. We will give you the best service. And, you know, we want to create a relationship. We're not looking to make a sale. We're looking to create a relationship. Which also, Brent, in answering your question, which is why we feel we have done our R&D and our prove outs the right way. We started this project in early 2018.
Right.
You know, so we're years into this. We're thousands of hours of R&D of making the bales, of testing, and we've had our bumps. But how do you find out unless you do it?
I think it's like you said. We're not making our customers pay the price while we improve the balers. We're putting our money where our mouth is. We're making it happen. We're doing the testing at your facilities and like I said, at very valued customer sites. You know, the biggest thing in this whole operation of doing this together is the knowledge that JWR has on all the servicing of balers around the United States that you guys have done, and then the manufacturing capabilities and the engineering capabilities that Seabright Products has. Putting those together, we feel like we got a huge advantage over other people. You know, I mean, we know the problems. We're trying to correct those problems. We're trying to make it very user-friendly. The serviceability part of the baler, we want it to be really simple when somebody gets there to service it. You know, some of the features that we'll get into later are designed to do that end. And, you know, at the end of this discussion, when we're done, people can send in and submit questions, and we'll answer them to the best of our abilities.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, again, we have fun doing what we do. You know, we're having a ball doing this, and we have our staff, our people, you know, from sales to engineering to, you know, the guys out in the plant busting their tails doing this. It's just been an awesome experience. You know,
it's really a great team effort.
You bet.
I think we ought to go back and see what Gary and Amber are doing.
Sounds good.
I'm Amber Borgert, Director of Marketing and Sales for JWR.
And I'm Gary Brinkman. I'm Managing Director of Seabright Products International.
And today we are going to take you on a tour of our BaleWulf 2-ram baler, the latest innovation in baling technology.
This baler incorporates all the qualities you've come to expect from JWR and Seabright Products. But enough about us. Let's go take a look.
All right.
We've incorporated a lot of new features and innovations into this baler. First of all, it's a 36,100 pound behemoth. You can see we're using a vertical separation door. We're using bolt-in liners. We're also using adjustable eyes, a convenient control station using Allen Bradley components, an accent wire tie system. And when you get to the back, we've actually developed something new that's a shimless pack shoe adjuster.
We're also going to show you how we've set up our remote grease station and how we've moved our hydraulics to the back of the baler. We're going to go through our power unit with you and show you all of the high quality components, as well as we're going to show you our Lexon panel and work light. And we're really going to show you how easy and friendly this baler is to use.
One of the things that we really wanted to address with this machine is warranty. We started with the best warranty in the business. 2 years or 4,000 hours, parts and labor. Further, we went to 5 years, 10,000 hours on the chassis.
Also included with the purchase of your baler is an all-inclusive planned maintenance program. This maintenance program consists of a 2-year or 4,000-hour program, and we will come in based on your material, your schedule, and we will do complete inspections of not only all the electrical, the hydraulics, the mechanical, the operations and safeties of the baler. We did not cheap out. We're including filters and oil samples.
One of the other things that we really wanted to address was the lead times. Not only are we carrying parts on the shelf, we're stocking machines.
Dave, we're standing here looking at the frame of a BaleWulf baler, and we're talking about warranty. And I know the discussion that we had over several weeks about offering the best warranty in the industry, and I think we hit the mark with that. You know, we have a 5-year frame and ram warranty, we have a 2-year parts and labor warranty, and in addition to that, something I don't think anybody else offers, we have a 2-year planned maintenance program, and I'd like you to just give a little bit of what that includes.
Sure. So yes, it's a 2-year or 4,000 hours of planned maintenance that is included with the purchase price of any BaleWulf. We want to make that clear. And what you get when you join the BaleWulf team is simply you'll get us to perform your service for you. We will help you. We will make sure that we're in constant contact with you. We want to look at we want to know how many hours you have on your machine.
They don't have to worry about what interval do I change oil, what interval do I do filters, what do I have to check, what are the safety checks on it. The planned maintenance takes care of all that for them for 2 years.
Yes, for 2 years. So we're coming in, obviously your baler is running at optimum performance at the time, you know, after we leave on the install. We're then coming in, Brent, the first trip back, 200 hours. Our filters, air and oil are included in this program.
That's nice.
And we also perform oil sample on every check. So we're coming in on the first interval at 200 hours, and then we are doing 500-hour intervals thereafter, which is, you know, your 2 years or 4,000 hours, whichever runs out first.
That's excellent.
Yeah. So, and again, the big part of the PM program is safety is very important. We want to make sure that everybody's safe, that the operators are safe, and you know that is our primary concern. We also have a very extensive check down on mechanical, electrical. You know, we're going to go through and we're going to
make sure
everything.
that there's no issues for them to have to worry about that 2-year period. And also, I know a part of it is that they can extend that planned maintenance for 3 years at a nominal price that lines up. They can actually have the
with our 5-year frame and
with our 5-year frame and ram. And which brings me to I've asked Mike Amante to come in and talk a little bit.
Hey, Mike.
With our
come on in.
Thanks, sir.
With our 5-year frame and ram warranty, you can see the beefiness of the frame here, and one of the critical areas in a frame is the floor. So Mike being the lead fabricator, he knows that if we ever have a problem with that he's going to hear about it first. And I thought maybe he'd like to explain what they do and how the floor is put in and that kind of stuff. So Mike, what do you got to say here?
Well, the floor is AR400. We put interlocking guide strips on the ram and on the floor of the machine, fully welded in certain spots, and that reduces the wear. It reduces friction, which, I mean, it's just...
Our tongue and groove also keeps the ram riding truer. It doesn't allow us to grab a big piece and bring it back behind the ram.
Correct.
I see that the floor actually tabs out through the sidewalls.
Yes, the floor sticks through the sides about 4 inches. That way you're fully welded all the way down both sides.
And that's the
bottom and the top.
That's the interlocking part of the floor that you're talking about that keeps it so.
So your floor is not just going to drop.
Yeah, it's integrally tied together to the frame.
Correct.
Yep.
Well, I know, you know, you and I talked, Dave, that about the length of time, and we decided on 5 years on the frame and ram, and I'm highly confident with the engineering and the weldments that we're putting together and the beefiness of our frames and rams. I don't see any problem with offering that 5-year warranty. I think the 2-year parts and labor, we use all high quality parts. I don't see any problem with that. And I really like the planned maintenance part, because that gives our customer that warm feeling that they're not going to have to worry about, okay, now there's something wrong, I got to go argue with the manufacturer about whether it's warranty or not. And you know, for 2 years they're off the hook. It's on us.
No, absolutely, and that's why we felt it was so important to include that planned maintenance in the purchase price of the machine.
Yep. Let's go see what Amber and Gary are doing.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you, Dave. We're standing here at the back of the eject ram, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite features, which is the Lexon panel and the work lights. The feedback that we've had on this feature has been phenomenal. No more wondering if your machine is full of material. You're able to easily see the cylinders, the hoses, and all of your accessories, and it's made maintenance super easy. We've had phenomenal feedback from maintenance managers because they no longer have to wonder if their team is cleaning out behind the baler and making sure that there's no debris and other obstructions in the way.
So a couple of the things that we changed in the back of the BaleWulf, we actually moved all of the hydraulic systems to the back. So you can see these hoses right here are normally up towards the front. We've actually moved everything back so it's simpler from a service perspective for people to be able to see this. The second thing that we added on here is you can see the grease zerks on the back. They're all labeled, and you can see very easy to be able to access. The third thing that we've put on here is the laser system. One of the things that we really tried to focus on with the BaleWulf is simplifying the electrical system. Removal of limit switches, removal of proximity switches. That laser actually controls everything about the main gathering ram. It tells you when the bale's full, it tells you the cycle, the length, how much of the bale you've made. One of the other things that you'll see inside of here is we keep everything tightened down in the back, and then you can actually see our manifold back there where the main lines come in from. So one of the other things you can see with the cylinder pins, there's actually nuts on the top of it so that it's much easier for those to be able to remove. You're not going to have to cut those out. You're also not going to have to be able to pound those out. With these, they'll simply drop right out and you're good to go.
Another phenomenal feature that comes with the BaleWulf 2 Ram is removable bolt-in liners. Instead of having all your liners plug weld, we've made it where you can bolt it in, which reduces your time in relining your baler and reduces your cost of ownership. Let's go back to Brent and Dave and watch a video on it.
We're here at engineering with Bill Brisbane, our engineer that designed and came up with the bolt-in floor liners, and we want to show you what we think is pretty innovative. And Bill, I see you got it up on the screen here. You can show us what you got.
All right, thank you, Brent. Before I get into that, I'll just kind of explain how this idea came about in talking with our customers. A lot of them would like to see liners in their machines because of the product wearing the plates down, and they are looking for a better way to replace them. The typical way right now in the industry involves a lot of torch work, involves a lot of dirty work, and enclosed space work to get the liner plates out, because all the liner plates are all completely welded in to the frame of the machine. So the machine is now down for sometimes up to a week.
A lot of cutting and grinding.
It's just dirty, and people are crawling around in that stuff. And so we figured maybe we could come up with a better way of doing this.
Why not show us how we're going to do this?
All right. So what we're looking at doing is the liners themselves are bolted into the machine. To get started on it, what you have to do then is, the first thing you do is pull off the eject ram assembly. This then allows us room for people to get in and out and for the plates to be removed.
Can you stop it right there a minute, Bill? When they pull that eject ram, what did you tell me earlier? 2 hoses and
Yes.
an electrical connection they got to take loose, right?
There's 2 hydraulic lines and electrical connection that runs the sensors in the back end of the machine that control the ram. All of which are accessible from the outside of the machine. Nobody crawls into the machine. So once again, that is now removed and out of the way. It sounds like a big undertaking, but there's not a whole lot to it. You then go to the underside of the machine, pull off the lock nuts and the heavy washers that hold the plate in place, tip it up, and drag it out diagonally through the opening that is left by the eject ram. And then there's 2 more plates in the gathering chamber that are held in the same way.
Can you stop it again for me right there? Are those tabs that I see on there, they're going through the sidewall, and that's the little bit of torch work that you're gonna have to do is cut the welds loose on the outside of the machine.
Outside of the machine. Okay. Stick through the machine. There's 3 tabs per plate. They're about 6 inches long, and so all of that is accessible from the outside. The other small spot where there is a weld that needs to be cut is where the plates come together here. It's a T-shaped weld that we just hold the corners together. That is quite easily done with a cutting wheel.
Just grind it out.
Just grind
a bevel in
what's left of the weld, because if the plates are wore out, that weld might be half gone anyways.
Right.
Because it's being run over. So they then come out the
Eject ram opening.
Eject ram opening.
Right.
Same thing on that side.
That's pretty cool that they all fit out through there. And
Yep.
I think you said earlier they're a couple 100 pounds apiece, and so it's going to take a couple guys to muscle them out of there, but that's a lot better than lifting a whole plate.
Yeah.
Correct.
Trying to get it through the chamber or out the rear end.
Right.
So we, I wanted to point out to people, just explain to us a little bit about, we gave extra clearance, we extended our legs, and then our gathering ram does not have to be removed in order to pull a section of liner, correct?
Correct. The gathering ram just needs to be in its fully retracted position. The liner plates start in front of that ram about 1 inch, and it's easily accessible. There's no welding along that side, so it's quite easy access as far as replacing the liners.
Yep.
I've been looking at that clearance. I still think Wolf's going to have to go under there.
Definitely.
You or me ain't going to get under it, but he will.
It's because my arms are longer than yours.
That among other things.
You know, the other thing that I see in this, guys, and I know our service guys, and being a service-based company for the last 40 years, man, my guys are going to be fired up to go out on this job and not have to run a carbon arc, not have to torch, not to have a spark roll down their back.
Well,
you know.
think of the safety issue. All that grinding and cutting.
Well, and it's safe. The majority of our equipment is where? Around fiber, around paper.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a fire watch is very critical, and it just eliminates a lot of.
And it looks to me like it would be fairly simple to put them back in. You just reverse what we just saw, right?
Right.
Reverse what was just shown. As you saw on the plates themselves, you had your bar grate strips that were on there. Those are tacked on so as not to distort the plate.
Get them bolted in, suck down to the floor.
Get them bolted in,
and
get them pulled down flat, and then.
The other thing we can do too is obviously, you know, as things wear, it wears in differently.
Right.
That also allows us the opportunity that if we have to make an adjustment, we can make an adjustment, run our ram back
prior
on
to
our,
welding the tabs or whatever. Yeah.
You know, especially in the situation that we're not replacing our bolt-in gathering ram floor.
Correct. Yeah, because the gathering ram floor is also removable.
Do you have a picture of that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I can see the nuts and bolts
coming through the back side of the machine, and you can see that there's your heavy washers and lock nuts. and those are holding the wear plate to the underside of the ram. To replace that one though, the ram will need to be pulled because the plate has to be able to drop out.
There's clearance to pull it right straight out the back, right?
The ram will come right straight out the back of the machine. You just got to unhook your hoses, pull your cylinder pins, bring the cylinders together, and pull the ram out. And once it's out, you do the same thing. You unbolt them, pop the new ones on. There's going to be a couple of tack welds here on the back side just to keep that plate from shifting, so we don't have all of the pressure on the bolts themselves. The weld is actually holding the plate from moving. The bolts are just holding the plates to the machine, to the ram.
Right, now all these plates, liner plates that we're replacing, and obviously the ones that are in the machine, they're all Hardox, right?
Yes, they're Hardox 450 plates on the floor and an AR 400 plate on the ram.
Perfect.
So they're all a hardened abrasion, or I should say they're hardened, but they're an abrasion resistant material.
Mm-hmm. So in theory, you know, we can go through a couple of ram floors, which is the smallest part and the easiest part to do before we even get into chamber liner.
Correct.
Thanks, Bill. That's awesome.
Yeah. We're thinking this will save a lot of time.
Here we are back in the plant again, and I'm at the rear of the gathering ram with Dave, and I love this feature. These polycarbonate access covers allow you at a glance to see what's going on inside this machine.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You know, I think if we look at it from an owner standpoint, we're trying to protect our investment, and we're trusting in our operator. Hey, Joe, is it clean behind the ram? And if we have, you know, solid access panels back here, we're just taking his word for it.
Right, and we got a work light in here too.
Yes.
Which really makes it nice because you don't have to lock it out. You don't have to take the solid panels off. You don't need to go get a light and drag it over here to get up inside and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You can, when this ram is forward, this lights up that whole chamber.
Yes, it does.
You can see what's going on. You can see if you got any buildup happening. You can see if you got an oil leak. And then, of course, I see this grease station here. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, the grease station and the placement of the hydraulics, our intention here was to bring the majority of what we need to pay attention to and keep an eye on to the back of the baler so that it's visible through our panels. In this grease station, we're hitting all of the points that need grease, the pins, the shoes, with the exception of the rear two-cylinder end pins, which we can grease from here. Obviously, once these panels are removed, we're now in lockout tagout mode. But it eliminates 80% of the time somebody would have to crawl under their baler to service it.
You know as well as I do, when you go to look to see if somebody's greased something, you walk by, you can even look at these Zerks and you're gonna know whether or not they're greasing it.
Yes.
I mean, it's not hard to figure out whether they've hit it with some grease or not. So I think that's really great feature, the grease stations, the hydraulics at the rear. I think that's another thing that you might want to talk about a little bit.
Yep. So all of our hydraulics, and again, in a glance, we can walk by this, and really the only connections we're not seeing is the connections to our retract on both cylinders. Yep. But everything is back here. At a visual glance, Brent, we can tell if there's something leaking sooner rather than later.
All right, let's go see what Gary and Amber are doing.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, guys. All right, I am super excited to show you our power unit. Our power unit is made from high quality components such as Parker hydraulics, everything from the valves, the piggyback pump, and the pump, also our nice motor. One thing I absolutely love is we simplified our electrical system with this plug and play. We like to keep it very simple for everyone. I also want to show you our control cabinet. Our control cabinet is full of high quality Allen Bradley parts. Everything from our PLC to our disconnect, our contactors. One of the things I really love about the BaleWulf line of balers is our commitment to you is that all major components are in stock and can ship out immediately for you. Now let's take a look at the inside of the baler. We are super excited to show you the game-changing progressive shear.
So as we're looking inside the machine, you can see that the progressive shear actually on the front where it spreads the material out, you're not just cutting across a single span. On the back side, you can see we have an angle on the shear that goes on the ram. An important part of this is that we're not using standard hardened material. This is T1 tool steel, 1.5 inches thick. One thing that I'm really excited about with all of this machine is built like a tank. Continuing on with that, one of the other important parts is that we use hard piping on our hydraulics. So when we come off of the main power unit, you can see we'll angle in here and we're using hard piping coming out. An important part of that is that we're not having the rubbing on the material, plus it's for a safer design.
So we've gone with the industry standard accent wire tire. One of my favorite features about the wire tire is it has an interchangeable head. So you're working away and a pinion were to break, you can literally remove the head, reinstall it, and be back up and baling. The next feature I want to show you is our vertical door. We went with the vertical door in lieu of the horizontal door to help eliminate all the debris inside your tracks. The other thing I absolutely love about our vertical door is for durability, it locks right into the chassis of the floor. Another unique feature that we have gone with the vertical door is its universal left-hand or right-hand eject. You have a baler, your business is growing, and you're now going to add another baler to your fleet, but you need to move this one to the side of the a different side of the building, right in the field. You can change which way it ejects. So if it's left-hand, you can make it right-hand. I want to take a minute and I want to show you our adjustable eyes. This lower eye right here really helps eliminate shear jams. It's movable so you can make sure you don't jam. Our upper eye up there allows you, as you're changing material, to make adjustments so that you ensure you get that full charge. So now let's take a look at our cylinders.
A couple things that are really important with this. We're using twin 7-inch cylinders on the back side. One nice part about this is that our angle of attack actually allows us to achieve higher bale weights using less pressure. Another part that I'll point out to you is the tail rollers that you see on the back side of the ram. Not only do we guide the system from the front, we guide it from the back as well. The last piece I want to show you is the pack shoe adjuster. It's shimless. When you come on the back there, you can see that back jack bolt. You'll turn that and it'll actually raise and lower the height of the ram without having to take the machine apart. Engineering's actually prepared a video for you, so let's take a look at that animation.
Hello, this is Bill Brisbane again. I'm going to show you the animation that Gary had mentioned on the pack shoe adjustment wedges that we have on the baler ram, which is a shimless setup for aligning your shear and your ram. This is located, here's the ram face, so these shoes are closer to the front of the machine. Here you have your wedge setup, your adjustment bolt, that you then, what you would end up doing is turn that adjustment bolt in, which pushes the wedge in, putting pressure on the pad, which in turn starts bringing the ram up. That way there's no need for shims, and it's just some wrench work. As you can see, the ram lifts, and then when you come up and look at the top, you can see here's your hold down bars. It can then bring you up to the hold down bars and get your shear tolerance back where you want it, so there are no gaps for wedging and jamming, and it seems to be working out quite well for us. But what we'll do is we'll go back out into the shop where Dave has an actual model of the wedge assembly, and we can take a closer look at that.
We're now in front of one of the rams for the BaleWulf line of balers. You can see the mass and the heavy dutiness of it. And what we want to do is talk about the shimless pack shoe adjuster. I know, Dave, in your testing in Wisconsin, you've had to adjust shoes. So why don't you walk us through how this operates?
Thanks, Brent. And even though I know your see-through panels are your favorite option of the baler, this is my favorite option of the baler. There was a lot of R&D, a lot of trial and error that went into the research and development of this.
Oh yeah, we drove Bill nuts.
Oh, we drove Bill crazy. And, you know, but we, you know, after many attempts, we came up with this design. And the reason we wanted to show this, physically show this, is to help everybody understand how massive this is. So let me explain it to you in theory, or in principle. So traditional balers, it's sort of a pain. You have to try to shim it by shimming your shoe in order to lift your ram up to your hold downs. And we wanted to find a better way, and we believe we have found a better way. So with our Shimless pack shoe adjuster, you're basically driving this wedge, which is lifting your ram in order to create the shear tolerance accordingly. So we want to lift our ram up to our hold downs, and then we shim our knife down to achieve our tolerance. So we have this wedge that rides over the shoe. The assembly fits on top, and what we're adjusting it with, we're backing off our lock nut, and this is our adjustment. We're driving this shoe under the wedge. We're driving the wedge under the shoe, and it lifts our ram accordingly. We do that repetitively until we run out of jack bolt. When we are out of jack bolt, our shoe needs to be replaced. When that happens, we have to remove these 4 bolts. Our jack bolt comes out. Our jack bolt screws into our wedge, and we pull our wedge out of the assembly. We remove our assembly. We have 4 bolts. We remove the shoe. We replace the shoe. Put it back in place. Our wedge is now engaged. Back our jack bolt out. And we do it again.
I can see why you like this feature. It has to be a time saver and so much easier to do. But I think now we ought to go see what Gary and Amber are up to.
Sounds good.
I'd like to introduce you to Mike Evans. He's the operations manager at JWR, and he's going to show us how user-friendly the baler really is.
Thanks, Amber. One of the main challenges we faced in engineering with this was to make this as simple as possible to use. We recognize that maybe not everyone has an engineering degree to run a baler, and we want to make it as easy as possible to run. So we put a lot of effort into how easy this baler is to run. As you can see, the panel is very simple. That's by design. We did that intentionally. Simple indicator lights, whether they're red, orange, and green, they all have different meanings. Very simple. The controls down below, very easy. I mean, 2 buttons and a key, basically. E-stop if anyone has a problem. Simple reset to make the baler reset after a E-stop condition or when you power it up. And a simple start button to start the baler. This will function in auto mode, about as easy as it gets. A key for security, owners and can control who has control of the baler with a key. And then the real workings of the machine are done in the HMI screen. This also was intended to be very simple. The idea is the easier it is for somebody to read and understand, the more likely they are to keep the baler running. As you can see, there's not a whole lot on it. We do have the ability to control the material you're putting in. So if you'll see here, we have, it says cardboard selected right now, so we have recipes built into this. We can tell the baler different parameters for different material that you're running. With a simple touch of a button, we can tell it a different commodity to bale, whether that be cans, cardboard, cores. The baler is designed to be able to bale cores. You could be running tires or paper or PET or aluminum. Whatever that material incoming stream is, we can accommodate it with the baler and optimize the baler for that material. Then we have a settings in this baler that we can go to. These settings are protected by password for the owner to be able to have control of the baler. We don't want just anyone coming up and being able to change settings of the baler. Once we have it optimized at startup, we want to maintain those settings and only change them based on the incoming material or what the owner of the baler may want. When we go in there, these are our different profiles or recipes, whatever you may want to call them. When we open one of those up, this is our cardboard recipe. These recipes can fully be named. You can name it whatever your commodity is. That way from the home screen, your operator has control of exactly what's going in, and he knows what he's looking at. This machine functions a little bit differently than most balers. We control the pressure that we're baling at with the recipe. So we come in here and we have a pressure setting. So on these last cardboard run that we were doing here, we were baling them at 1500 PSI. That's what's in that recipe right there. Very simple, very straightforward, but again, controlled by management, not by your baler operator, unless owner or management decided to do so. A bale count system in here for knowing what our production was throughout the day. We can clear it at any time, so beginning of shift, you clear that, you know exactly what you made per shift. We have some basic troubleshooting stuff in here that if you're on the phone with tech support, something like that, we can come to a IO status, basically telling us what positions the machine is in, where, what states, what's going on, what's happening. And finally, the last thing is just some very simple data on the baler. It's going to tell us position of ram, pressure we're at, just the basic data that you need to be able to operate this machine.
Wow, Mike, that's impressive. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Amber.
A couple of things that we really wanted to address when discussing the system was network security. Also some of the wireless features that we built into the system. So let me open this up. You can see inside the control panel, here's our wireless control system. You can actually enter this in using Cat5 cable if you want to allow us onto your network. If not, we can go Wi-Fi. The third option is that we can actually use a cell phone and turn our cell phone into a hotspot, which allows us to remotely troubleshoot the system. The other opportunity is that it allows us to continue to optimize your system by taking the recipes and continuing to dial them in as your needs change.
And the final step to optimize your system is to add the proper accessories. As you'll see behind us, this is an over-the-back conveyor added to this baler, but there are so many options. Gary, tell them some of the options they have.
Sure, some of the different options that you can put on here. Pit conveyors. You can also use a cart dumper to be able to load it in with full totes of material. Also, you can use a side feeding conveying system. This week we ran some cardboard bales, just to give you an example. This is actually run with this system that you see over here. So you'll see some of the different bale weight sizes. This one right here, we ran some lower bale weights. This is actually for an export model.
Did you know we ran those at 1500 PSI?
Yeah, and we actually made them shorter. So the good news is these are the little ones. Here's another nice one that I was pretty proud of.
Yeah, and 50 horsepower, 2400 PSI.
Yeah, exactly. Now this one, that one's my favorite.
That's my favorite too.
I think the other thing that we need to remember is that we took all of the learnings over years and years and years of experience and put it all together for you as a team.
Now we're out in the plant. We're with Saul Fifelski, our controls engineer, and we're going to go over the programming of this machine, the adjustable eyes, and the remote diagnostic capabilities. One of the things that I like about this machine is we have several programs in it already, but I'm going to let Saul walk us through it, and then we'll talk about them as we go through them.
So we have a Allen Bradley HMI touchscreen. We made it as simple as we could on the face of it. Real simple, see the hours. Displays what's going on with the machine. Right now the key is off. It tells you that. You can select your products, alarm history, you know, where your RAM location, your pressures, your temperatures, things like that.
So tell me then, so we have our various commodities programmed into the machine, correct?
I think there's 8 of them, right?
There's eight recipes, correct.
8 or 9 recipes currently, and not that we can't add more, you know,
Can
expand
you pull
on
that
it.
up? Can you bring it up on the screen?
Yes, so you go to the settings tab. You have to log in. It's password protected, so nobody can just change it on you. 7-1 password.
And here we are.
Okay, so now we're seeing on the screen that there's cans, cores, paper, aluminum, copper, sheet paper, and magazines. Now, I know from the testing that you've done, these are generic settings, right?
Right, these are, let's take cardboard for example. Sol designed, based on our testing and trial and error, a program that's more universal. And then our plan is to, as we go into the customer's application, it's easy to think that cardboard is cardboard, but it's really not. It could be big, it could be small, it could be a certain mix. It can fall into the chamber differently.
Could be wet,
could be dry. Where Sol really helps us and can accelerate this process is as we're testing different versions of this material, we adapt to the customer stream.
Kind of optimize the program to
right.
make the best
Absolutely.
bale
We'll be sitting out there. We've spent hours and hours of testing, and we can just get, even if Sol's not there, Sol can come in and help us remotely.
Typical installation, you're going to have a tech on site.
Yes.
And along with that tech on site, as long as we have the capability to contact the machine, Sol can be sitting in his office and help that tech dial in the program to get that maximum bale weight, make the bales look good.
Right.
Yes, as long as we get an internet connection to the machine, you can do it through a cable, you can do it through a hotspot on your phone, you can do it through a Wi-Fi connection. I can access this with your permission through a safe network, and I can get on and I can change the program here or in the PLC, whatever's needed. So and that's a free support that's offered for everybody that purchases one of these machines.
Right. And let's just sort of elaborate a little more on the technical support, the remote support.
Well, you guys were testing up at JWR. I know that you guys had Sol working with you. You're in Wisconsin, we're in Michigan. How'd that work out?
Oh, it worked out great. Hey Sol, we need an adjustment or a tweak here. And Sol could just get right on it remotely. As we're running, Sol can see what we're doing, and change sequences, pretty much so. I really don't know where the limitations end, as far as.
Oh, it's just what we're. Really, anything that I can do here, I can do remotely.
There you go.
Aside from using a wrench.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where we feel the BaleWulf line of balers, and Sol's programming and the system we've developed. We want everybody to understand that it's not going to be generic. It's not going to be cookie cutter. That's our starting point. But your units will always be fine-tuned to your specific.
Their program.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right.
That's part of the package. That's what you get.
I
When
know
you get
that
us.
part of that optimization has to do with the two eyes we have. We have a vertical eye that's adjustable and a horizontal eye. I think there's a couple of them there.
Right. And in upper, lower, and just another unique feature that we built into this. And our lower one, not everything falls into the chamber the same way. It piles differently. You may want to start your gathering ram a little sooner, a little later. So this one actually is on a track and runs this way. And then this one, in most typical setups when we have an extension hopper with a conveyor, we mount this one up high, but we also give it a range so that this thing can travel. Instead of having a fixed location, and then having to.
Yeah, all the material falls in different. You're going to have to make adjustments with the eye.
Right. And another thing too, actually, we do give a positioning front and back on our lower eye as well. So if you want to move from the side to side to the front to back, we can do that as well.
Well, I know on a lot of these options, I know we got patents pending on a lot of them. They're pretty unique. We haven't seen them anywhere in the industry, and I think that's what makes a BaleWulf a BaleWulf is the optimization of the machine to get the bale weights, get the correct size bales, and do it with the least amount of work. Get it dialed in right.
No, absolutely, and I think through Sol's design, he's done a very good job. The other thing we really focused on is we want to keep it simple.
Absolutely.
This is simple. And
every operator should be able to walk up and use this.
Right.
And with a little bit of training, they're up and running. They can select their product fast. They can get up and running, and off they go.
Yep.
Once they set up a recipe, it's just there to use over and over and over again.
Well, I think Dave, and I know in the sites that we've monitored where we put these out at customer sites, the selected few we put them at, they've had no problem at all with this. It's been very easy for them to pick it up.
It's been great.
And make it work.
Yep.
So I think with that, we should probably head back into the conference room. I'm sure the people have been calling in and there's a bunch of questions for us to answer, so let's head that way.
All right.
All right. We're back in the conference room. Brent and I are here to answer any questions that you may have. Go ahead, Brent.
I see we have a question. What's the operating PSI of the baler? I know the PSI is 2800 max, but I know in our testing your place, we have run several different materials and that PSI depends on the material. Would you like to explain that a little bit?
Sure. 2800 PSI is our maximum operating pressure, low pressure system. 3000 is our max pressure. What we've really worked hard, on trying to perfect with the BaleWulf balers. We don't believe in running at red line. We just don't. We want to make the bales we need to make, and we want to optimize, and we want to save on wear and tear, and we want longevity with the ultimate result of the product that the customer desires.
Get the best out of it we can at the lowest pressure.
Yes, yes. So again, elaborating on a lot of the conversation prior, it's about the, about the recipes. We're making as Gary stated, an export bale. Want to go 47 inches wide. We ran those bales to 1,500 pound bales at 14 to 1,500 pound bales at 15 to 1,600 PSI.
And every recipe has its own setting of PSI. I mean, it's not just a cookie cutter. It's
correct. You will not just get one cardboard recipe. You could have 15 cardboard recipes if that's what you choose to do.
Okay, let's go on to the next question. What are your throughput tons per hour and bale weights? Now I know on flattened cans that we've been running that we're averaging like 1187 a bale. We're getting like 6.5 tons an hour.
Yes.
What did you find on other things that you were running?
The other thing that we've done obviously extensive testing on is the cardboard runs. Have done 20 bale plus consecutive runs of cardboard.
Yep.
Medium to large size, mostly knockdown. And where we were at there, through all of our calculations, average bale weight 1612. And in the production run, we were right. The number was 8.6 tons per hour. So, we're right between 8 and 9 tons an hour consistently.
Right.
On the 2 round.
And what kind of, I know there's a lot of different weights in cardboard. There's a lot of different things. What were you actually running? I mean, we weren't running.
No, they weren't stand-up boxes.
Right.
Yeah, it was all pretty much so knockdown material. A lot of packer load stuff. The stuff that people will see in their centers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to make we're making this as real as it can be. Next question.
Next question is, what is the testing demo facility? Which, for everybody's knowledge, we have that at your place in Wisconsin. Why don't you fill them in as to what we have done there?
Well, again, it's about doing our R&D, and we're firm believers, not asking anybody to be our test child. So we have set up our own R&D center. It is open to any potential BaleWulf customer. That's where we're doing our R&D testing. And we're also going to do customer demos. If you think you have a material that you want to see baled in our baler, the invitation is standing. Contact us, after the launch here, and we will, make arrangements and make that happen for you.
My understanding is that through the rest of this year, we will do those demos for nothing. All they got to do is get their material to us. They're welcome to fly in, observe it on their own, and we will run that material for them.
Correct. Yep. That's exactly what it is.
What about, I'd like you to expand just a little bit. What kind of materials have you tested? I know what we've done out at the customer sites, but we've tested a lot of material in Wisconsin.
We have tested a lot of material. You know, we've tried to test the tough stuff. I mean, we've even been running semi-load after semi-load of slab paper through our baler, not preconditioned. You know, roll cores has also been a good test for us. Everything has been very positive, very successful. Containers, fiber, paper.
When you're running cores.
Yeah.
Now the cores that I'm familiar with could be from an 1/8 inch wall to say a 3/4 inch wall.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also seen 6 or 7 inch cores that only got like a 1 inch hole in them.
Mm-hmm. Bottom line is we have to be able to shear it.
Right.
You know, we can't shear a log. It's not a log splitter. But
so we would have to test.
We would have to test, which is
Right.
why, you know, we invite our potential
if
customers.
we were to get something that massive, thick, and there may be other criteria too that they got to do, you know, cut certain length, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, that's really good.
Yeah. So, you know, I guess we're wrapping it up. And again, we hope we gave you the information we were looking for, you know, help make you more educated in the BaleWulf line of balers. We're very excited to have this opportunity. We feel really good about our product, and we have, you know, done our best to make sure that we've done our R&D and the things that we need to do prior to taking it to market. So, you know, we're real excited, and we're, you know, we've had an overwhelming response and interest in our BaleWulf line up to this point.
It's been amazing to me. You know, this is the first time I've ever done one of these. I think it's probably the first time you've done one, and the response has been awesome.
It's been real good. The BaleWulf webpage is now fully functional, up with some good videos on it. BaleWulf.com. Go on it, take a look around. Any questions, you can reach out to either Brent or I or any one of our sales teams or your contacts, and we'll do our very best to answer every question you have.
Yeah, be great. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for attending, and we hope you enjoyed this webinar. This session was recorded and will be made available within the next few days. And again, for any additional information, to place an order, or to ask for additional questions, please visit www.BaleWulf.com. Have a great rest of your day.